So many times as a man, you can only second guess what's going on in a woman's mind. I mean, you like her, you spend time with her, and maybe you even feel that spark. But when it comes to asking for intimacy, that's where most men freeze. You don't know if she'll welcome it, you don't know if the timing is right, and you definitely don't want to ruin the vibe. And so you sit there caught between your desire and your fear, waiting for the perfect sign. But here's the thing, women don't usually spell it out. They'll give you hints, subtle signals, little openings. What makes the difference is whether you're calm enough, grounded enough, and confident enough to recognize those moments and act on them. And that's where Stoicism comes in. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about being in control of yourself. When you're steady, when you're not begging for intimacy, but guiding the moment with confidence, she feels it. And more often than not, she responds. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to ask a woman for intimacy using a simple psychological trick inspired by Stoic principles. I'll break it down into 7 parts so you understand not only what to do, but why it works in the modern dating world. And trust me, once you learn this, you'll never feel awkward or unsure about how to make that move again. So if you've ever been stuck wondering when and how to ask, then stay with me, because this is the clarity you've been waiting for. 1. Control the atmosphere. When it comes to intimacy, the first thing you need to understand is that it's not just about the words you use, it's about the environment you create. A woman pays attention to how she feels in your presence before she ever considers taking things further. And here's the truth. If she feels tense, distracted, or uneasy, intimacy will feel out of reach, no matter how confident you think you are. But when you take control of the atmosphere, you shift the dynamic in your favor without forcing anything. Think about it. You've probably been in situations where the setting just didn't feel right. Maybe the lights were too bright, maybe the TV was blasting in the background, maybe the vibe was off. And because of that, everything else felt rushed or awkward. That's why the first psychological trick is not asking with words. It's guiding with presence. You do this by controlling your environment. Lower the noise, slow down the pace, make her feel like she's the center of your attention. That simple shift is what makes her relax, and when she's relaxed, intimacy feels natural. Here's where Stoicism comes in. A Stoic man doesn't let his environment dictate his emotions. He shapes his environment so that both he and the woman he's with can be fully present in the moment. This doesn't mean expensive dinners or fancy gestures. It's about calmness. It's about your tone of voice, your eye contact, your patience. It's about letting her feel safe and at ease, so when the moment comes, she doesn't feel pressured, she feels drawn. So instead of jumping straight into asking, start by asking yourself, does the atmosphere invite closeness? If the answer is yes, then intimacy isn't something you'll need to force. It will be something she'll want to move toward with you. 2. Speak with calm confidence. One of the biggest mistakes men make when asking a woman for intimacy is letting nerves take over. You stutter, you overthink, or you blurt things out in a way that feels rushed, and women pick up on that instantly. The truth is, she may already be open to the idea, but the moment you act nervous, it makes her second guess you. Confidence is what reassures her that being with you is the right choice. Now here's the secret. Confidence isn't about loudness or flashy moves. It's about calmness. And this is where Stoicism gives you a huge advantage. A Stoic man doesn't chase, doesn't beg, and doesn't crumble under pressure. He knows what he wants, and he communicates it with steady control. When you look her in the eyes, when your voice stays firm but gentle, when your words are clear without sounding needy, that's when she feels your strength. For example, instead of stumbling around with hesitation, you might simply say, "I'd like to spend the night with you." Simple, direct, steady. You're not asking like a boy unsure of himself. You're speaking like a man who knows his worth. She'll feel that difference. Women are deeply attuned to tone. Your calm confidence tells her she's safe with you, that this isn't some reckless impulse, but a choice you're making with full awareness. And here's the beauty of it. When you carry yourself like this, you don't just ask for intimacy, you invite her into your frame of certainty. She doesn't feel like she's being pushed into something. She feels like she's being welcomed into your world. So remember this. Confidence without calmness can feel arrogant, but calm confidence feels unshakable. And when a woman senses that, intimacy becomes the natural next step, not a risk. 3. Read her signals. I once had a close friend who was struggling with this exact issue. He had been seeing a woman for a few weeks, and everything seemed to be going well. They had dinners, long conversations, late-night walks, but when it came to intimacy, he froze. He didn't know if she was truly interested, and he didn't want to ruin what they had built by asking at the wrong time. One night, they were sitting in his living room after a quiet dinner. She had kicked off her shoes, curled up comfortably on the couch, and was laughing at his jokes. Every few minutes, she leaned closer. At one point, she reached out to brush something off his shirt, her hand lingering just a second longer than necessary. All the signals were there, but he didn't trust himself to act. He thought maybe she was just being friendly, maybe he was imagining things, so instead of guiding the moment, he sat frozen, second-guessing. Eventually, the night ended with a polite hug, and she went home. The next day, she told him plainly, "You know, I was waiting for you to make a move." That hit him hard. He realized she had been giving him green lights all along, and his hesitation cost him the moment. Here's the lesson. Women rarely spell it out. They use signals, lingering touches, extended eye contact, playful teasing, or finding reasons to stay longer. A Stoic man doesn't rush, but he doesn't ignore those signals either. He observes calmly, he recognizes the shift in her body language, and when the timing feels right, he acts with clarity. Intimacy isn't about forcing. It's about aligning with her openness. If she's leaning in, touching you, laughing more, or prolonging her time with you, she's likely giving you permission without saying a word. The man who sees it and responds with calm confidence never has to ask twice. 4. Recognize your hesitation. Let me turn this on you for a moment. Think back to a time when you were with a woman you really liked. Maybe it was after a dinner date, or maybe you were just hanging out at her place. The mood felt right. She was laughing, sitting close, maybe even touching your arm as she spoke. Deep down, you knew there was an opening, but instead of moving forward, you hesitated. You started overthinking. What if she rejects me? What if I'm misreading the signs? What if I ruin this moment? And while those thoughts raced through your mind, the window slowly closed. She got up, grabbed her bag, or shifted the energy in the room, and by the time you thought about acting, the chance had already passed. Every man has been there, and the truth is, hesitation kills more opportunities than rejection ever will. Most of the time, it's not that she wasn't interested, it's that you doubted yourself and pulled back when she was waiting for you to lead. Here's where Stoicism changes the game. A Stoic man recognizes hesitation for what it is, fear disguised as caution. Instead of letting that fear control him, he breathes, grounds himself, and acts with clarity. He doesn't need to force anything, but he doesn't let opportunities pass either. So ask yourself, how many times have you lost the moment because of hesitation? How many times have you gone home frustrated, replaying the night in your head, realizing that if you had trusted yourself, things would have gone differently? Recognizing your hesitation is the first step to overcoming it, because the next time you feel it creeping in, you'll know what it is. And instead of freezing, you'll remind yourself, she gave me the signal. Now it's my turn to lead. 5. Frame intimacy as natural. When most men think about asking a woman for intimacy, they build it up in their minds like it's this massive high-stakes event. They think they need the perfect line, the perfect timing, or some kind of magical setup. But here's the truth. The more pressure you put on the moment, the more awkward it becomes. Women can feel when you're nervous, and that energy makes them pull back. The key is to frame intimacy as something natural, not something forced. When you treat it as the natural progression of your connection, she feels it too. You don't need flowery speeches or dramatic buildup. What you need is to stay present, keep things simple, and let her see that being close to her feels normal for you. For example, if you've been spending time together and the vibe is right, you don't have to announce intimacy. You let it flow. You lean in a little closer, hold her gaze, soften your tone, and when the moment feels right, you guide her toward the next step. If you choose to use words, keep them clear and steady. I want to be close to you. That's it. Simple. No over-explaining, no begging, no sounding unsure. This is where Stoicism sharpens you. A Stoic man doesn't dramatize what's already natural. He doesn't overcomplicate what should be simple. He accepts desire. He controls his emotions, and he expresses himself with composure. That's what makes her trust him. That's what makes her lean in instead of pulling away. So the next time you find yourself wondering how to ask, stop treating intimacy like a mountain to climb. Treat it as the next natural step in the rhythm you've already built together. When you do that, she feels safe stepping into it with you. 6. Lead without pressure. One of the strongest psychological tricks a man can use when asking for intimacy is to lead without ever making a woman feel pressured. And this is where most men either swing too far in one direction or the other. Some push too hard, making her uncomfortable. Others pull back so much that they look uncertain or weak. The sweet spot is in the middle, clear leadership that gives her space to choose. Leadership in this sense is not about controlling her, it's about controlling yourself. It's about guiding the energy of the moment. You do this with steady body language, calm words, and a grounded presence. For example, if you're sitting close, you might hold her gaze a little longer, lean in slightly and see if she responds. If she does, you guide further. If she doesn't, you slow down. That's leading without pressure. Women respond to this because it shows you're confident but also respectful. You're not pushing her into anything, but you're not afraid to guide the moment either. It's a balance of strength and patience. This is also where Stoicism works in your favor. A Stoic man doesn't get carried away by desperation or fear. He's calm, deliberate, and in control of his impulses. He knows that intimacy isn't about forcing an outcome, it's about aligning with her willingness. By staying composed, you make her feel that she can trust you, and trust is what allows intimacy to deepen. So the next time you're wondering how to ask, remember this. Your role is to lead, not to push. Set the tone, guide the energy, and let her see that you're confident enough to move things forward, but wise enough to respect her pace. That balance is what makes intimacy feel safe, natural, and exciting. 7. Keep your composure. The final piece of asking a woman for intimacy is something most men overlook. Composure. You might think it's all about timing, confidence, or the perfect words, but none of that matters if you lose your composure in the moment. Women can feel when a man gets nervous, desperate, or overly excited, and it immediately changes how they see him. What could have been a natural moment suddenly feels forced. Composure means staying grounded no matter what happens. If she responds positively, you don't rush like a man who's been starving for affection. You stay calm, steady, and let the moment unfold at its own pace. If she hesitates or pulls back, you don't get angry, defensive, or needy. You simply relax, smile, and continue enjoying her company. That's what separates men who are trusted from men who are tested. From a psychological point of view, composure communicates certainty. It shows her that you don't need intimacy to validate yourself. You desire her, yes, but you're not dependent on her reaction. That alone makes her more open, because women want to feel that intimacy is shared, not taken. This is exactly where Stoicism comes in. A Stoic man doesn't crumble when he doesn't get what he wants right away. He doesn't lose his cool under pressure. He practices self-control, patience, and emotional strength. When you carry that into a moment of intimacy, it changes everything. Instead of feeling like you're asking for permission with shaky energy, you're simply expressing desire with calm authority. So, when you think about how to ask a woman for intimacy, remember this final point. Composure is your greatest tool. It keeps the moment smooth. It makes her feel safe, and it shows that your masculinity isn't shaken by any outcome. That, more than anything, is what turns a simple request into a moment she feels comfortable saying yes to. Here's the twist most men never expect. The less you chase intimacy, the more it comes to you. When you stay composed, when you lead calmly, when you treat closeness as natural, women sense it, and that's when they lean in. It's not about clever lines or games. It's about showing her that your desire is steady, not desperate. And if you want more raw, unfiltered truths like this that cut through the noise of modern dating, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. You're watching Psycho Chick, and we go deeper every time.